We learned from Yosef Tzaddik this pshat. I want to say B'Shem Amo, the person who said it. His name is Rabbi Ephraim Wax from Rosh Yeshiva Muncie. Beautiful, beautiful Dvar Torah. He says, we know Yosef Tzaddik. We revealed this with his brothers much years later. His brothers threw him inside the pit. And afterwards there was a famine. They had to come to Mitzrayim. And Yosef Tzaddik, without them knowing, was the prince. And he was in charge. He thought he was a guy, an Egyptian. Yosef Tzaddik realized it's his brothers, but he kept on hiding it. He wanted to reveal himself, but he kept on hiding it. This went on for a little while. The Torah goes on that finally Yosef Tzaddik revealed himself to his brothers. And the Torah says, when Yosef told his brothers, Ani Yosef, I'm your brother Yosef, the brothers were shocked. They were in shock. Em nivalu. Their mouth was just open like this. They couldn't move. And says Rashi, why were they so much in shock? And he says, B'pnei abusha. They were embarrassed. The Shvatim, the brothers, were ashamed of themselves. Ashamed of what? That they threw this brother, that now was the prince. They made a mistake. They had their calculations, but they threw him inside the pit. They were so ashamed of themselves to see him in front of their face. The truth was thrown in them, so direct and so clear. They were just embarrassed of themselves, of the actions that they did. The Gemara says, the one at Tanaim, every time he read this pasuk in the Torah, he will burst out crying. He will start crying and crying and crying. Why? He says that this is only Basar Vadam, this story of Yosef Tzaddik. As much as Yosef Tzaddik is a big man diamar in the Torah, but he's flesh and blood, he's a human being. And look how embarrassed the brothers got. Can you imagine, he says after 120, a person goes to Olam Haba, and Hashem shows him in front of his face, look what you could have been, and look what you've became. Look how much you could have done. Look how much it was in you. I gave you the capabilities. I gave you the power to do it. You just didn't utilize it. All the ifs and buts, and I could have, and I should have, and I would have, and however, and this, and tomorrow is all going to disappear and just disintegrate in front of our face. We're going to feel so, says the Tanakh. It's going to be so embarrassing. Hashem gave you all the opportunities you need to connect to Him. Literally everything you need. Otherwise, you will not give it to a person. But then Rabbi Ephraim Exter goes on and he says like this. He says, the Mefashim tell us that this story of the Torah symbolizes what's going to happen when Mashiach is going to come. We want Mashiach to come. We really do. And I mean it honestly. We really do not want to be in America. Even though we appreciate it and we thank the Americans for hosting us. Thank you to you, Ibrahim. But we don't want to be here. We really want Mashiach to come. And we want Jews to be Jews. We want the Torah to be heard in the streets. Emet, truth, Kedusha, Ta'ara. No more nonsense in the streets. You want Mashiach to come in order to serve Hashem peacefully. So Yosef Tzaddik in this whole story symbolizes what's going to happen when Mashiach is going to come. Just like Yosef Tzaddik revealed himself to his brothers, so too when Mashiach is going to come, he's going to say, Mashiach. All the questions that we had will be answered. There's so much pain going on in the world. So much pain. People are suffering. Hopefully it should stop soon. People are suffering. There's so much. We already got immune to it. There's so much suffering. There's so much questions. When Mashiach is going to come, we're going to see the big picture. Everything is going to be put together, and then we're going to say, that's why Hashem did this. That's why Hashem did that. It's because we look in our glasses, we only see one part of the story. It's like opening up a book and you start in chapter 10. We're in the middle of a chapter. We're in the middle of a book. We're still in the middle of history. When Mashiach is going to come, everything will be clear. Exactly why everything had to happen.